All right, we rocking and rolling live here on a walkthrough of how to utilize your hosting share for your web hosting. I'm going to go in and start creating a new website. You'll find if you click on this left-hand side, it should say websites, domains, emails, etc. We're just going to go into website list. You may have just your one there. What I'm going to do is just go to new. I'm going to use hosting your website builder, which is the easiest to use. And I'm going to start this from scratch. Start. This part is actually, you can fill this portion out and AI will help generate something, but I would suggest to actually use a pre-made template. Pre-made templates are a faster way to get what you're looking for and give you a great starting space. So here you'll find different options that are most suitable to any form of industry. If I click on e-commerce, if you're primarily using this to sell, you go ahead, click here, see what it looks like. You have the best selling products, home decor, everything is kind of geared towards selling a product or service. And this is a great way to start your website because it takes a lot of guesswork out and provides you the ability to start from a great position. If you don't like the style, you can always change the style, but realistically, your website just needs a contact page, an about page, the shop page, and maybe a history or something like that. I'm gonna look at maybe one or two more. If we preview this, this effect may be more desirable for the way that you want to utilize your imagery. If you have a lot of standalone photos and mock-ups, as such, again, about our story, product, shop, blog. This one to me is what I'll start with because it gives you blog in case you want to utilize telling stories as a way to connect and build relationships with your customers. We also have shop, which is straightforward and lets you see the things that people can purchase, so on and so forth, with good quality photos, so on and so forth. So we're gonna just click start building, and that'll take us and populate a new site from there. On the left-hand side, you have a whole bunch of widgets and icons. The first one is add element. You have text, you have buttons, you have add bag, image, gallery, video, shape, map, Insta-feed, contact form, subscription, social media icons, embedded code, and search, product search. You'll do a majority of your creations here. The second most important place will be website style. Website style allows you to make changes on the website relatively fast. So it has colors, fonts, buttons, animations. So if your color palette is primarily green, let's just do a quick chat GPT. I have a new clothing brand and I need uh, a color treatment. It is a streetwear based in NYC. Give me a palette. Where's the palette? Full color palette. Okay. Show me what this looks like with a website example. So I'll leverage ChatGPT to kind of come up with the information for this project so we can fill in everything as such. So it's showing me the red, the yellow, city looks. Okay, this is like the taxi, subway, kind of New Yorky kind of feel. Metro card yellow, fire hydrant red, subway tile white. Hey, look, it broke it down to a New York look and feel. So what we're gonna do is implement these colors into the brand. So all the colors, all you do is press select and you go in, paste, um, change, select, paste, and then all of those colors should change. Being that this color and that color are relatively close, this is a white. Let's make the next thing since it's kind of all similar. Yellow is on, and then we have the change, red, apply. And so ironically enough, the colors here are relatively close to what already exists. But as you see, the yellow is already popping in. This color was changed to the gray, but it looks almost exactly the same. So you give me another color. Color option. Black, blue. Let's leave the markup. So again, if you already have your colors and know exactly what your colors are, you can just go in here and replace them with what's already been decided. Okay. Let's change all of these to that blue. So that blue shown. This yellow, we're gonna change to this tan. So all those things are a little easier to read. And then now we have the ability to come in and see those changes. We'll go back here. We're going to go to fonts. We're going to edit fonts. And we are going to pick a style. We can instantly see how it changes here to kind of help us. If you don't have a font choice selected, you can spend some time here. But I typically like something a little bit more strong and impactful. So I'll do like an impact. No, I'm not really feeling that. Not really feeling that. And then again, you may spend some time here trying to find a font that works for you. I didn't create a prerequisite, so I'm just going through here to find a font that I feel like is representative of what I'm after. All right, I'm not mad at this. This is kind of cool. You can then go in here and then adjust what that looks like. AG means all cap. So the first header will then become all cap, and you can determine what font should be all caps or not. This is a header 6. This is a header 3. And this right here is a header 2, a header 1. This is a header 1 right here. And what we're going to do is select it, press 2, and then I'll select 3. Is there no capital? Yes. So we're going to go back into here and close that. 2 is fine. And go back. So now we have that as our headers. We can then also change the written text that'll come down here. And let's do that and then apply the same effect where all the words become cap. Uppercase and all of the treatments. So now if we go in to here and let's go back, buttons, we want to have them like this and such. So now if we reload, you see as I type, everything is all capital now, right? So street, where, brand, all caps. This portion will be a small text box of info about the street front. As you see, everything is automatically uppercase. We have the shop now. So it's pretty straightforward to edit the text. You just literally click edit text. You can use your cursor to select all, or you can, use the shorthand cut Command A on a Mac to select all of the fonts. We have an image here. To change this background image, we're going to click the background, go to edit section. We're going to click replace photo. If you have your own photos, you'll upload them here. If you don't, you can go to free images and type in something that represents what you are looking for, streetwear. Right? Select this guy, add it, boom. What you can also do is if you want the image to scroll while you scroll, you go back in there, fixed background. So now when you move, the image stays. I personally like that effect, so I'm gonna leave it. The next thing we can do here is These photos are obviously editable. If you want to change the size, you can make it smaller by just dragging over the image. If you want to make it shorter in this regard, you apply the same effect. We're going to go into change image, which is the third option. And that'll directly bring us into here. We're going to go to free image, streetwear brand. Again, we're going to find something else that's kind of representing what we after. Um, and then we're going to come up. This is a header 3, which isn't caps. This is a header 2, which isn't caps. So this allows for us to write a brief overview. We can select that all, put it to a header 2, excuse me, header 3. But I've decided that I want all of the fonts to be uppercase. I'm going to go back into fonts, press edit, and I'm going to change all of the fonts to uppercase. You see how the words that I wrote automatically become uppercase. The third is all uppercase. The second is all uppercase. Fourth, all uppercase. Fifth, all uppercase. Sixth, all uppercase. Now, the images match. What I'm going to do is extend this further so that it touches. And if it doesn't, you have the ability to control this space by grabbing this section height module right here and moving and dragging and dropping how close you want something to touch. So if you wanted to touch in the end, you can drag it all the way up to the photo. If you want space, you just drag that down, and that's what that looks like. So now we have a cool little photo going along with the images that we have. And then we're going to change this by going to edit section, replace background. We're going to go here. Then we're going to type in New York. And I'm going to pick this one. I like the fixed background, so it'll move as we look into it. The yellows, the reds, yellows, the reds. This one is kind of heavily blue, but that blue matches here. So that's fine. So you see, here is a hover effect. If you want to change a button, you go click, everything is click and then edit. So you click the button, press edit. Then we're going to go into style. If the blue works, if not, you can go here to fill color, change it to the color that you want, and then the hover cover color can be changed as well. So now when we hover over it, it's blue. We can also reverse it. We can make this blue, but if we do that, now the hover won't change because both colors are the same. And we can then change the hover over here to red. But I like the yellow effect again because it kind of matches this background. And we'll do the same hover, fill color, switch the color. So now as we do this, I also noticed that here the colors didn't change. It was supposed to be that blue. We're gonna make it back to that blue. Change this to a header 2. I'm gonna say heart of the city. Select that. And what else you can do as far as adding extra effects, like you see how this is a dark color, you can make different arrangements using other effects. So you can bold it to make it pop a little bit more, italicize it, underline, strike through. So you can undo the strike through. right? So we can say harder to, if we want to say something cool, we can strike this part through and say the world. Select this, remove the strike, and then now it says heart of the city, heart of the world. We can then go here to the three buttons, which are more buttons, and then put a background color. We can choose the background color to be whatever we want, yellow, red, so on and so forth. And then here is the opacity. This controls how transparent whatever we have highlighted will become, right? I'm not really feeling that, so I'm gonna remove that effect and I'm gonna change it to a red. I'm gonna put that in the middle. I'm gonna make it like this, put it in the middle, go to edit. I'm gonna change the text alignment to be centered. So as we move, it says heart of the city, heart of the world. I want to make this bigger, so I'm gonna go highlight everything and then change the font size from 56 to 40 to 64. I like that. Now we have our products. This area is where you can, again, edit the photo to match what you want it to be. We can go change image, or we can click edit image, replace. So that's an extra step, but it does the same effect. T-shirt. So like that. We go here to change. Let's do T-shirt again and see the other options that they may have if it follows the same look and feel. Here we go. We have another image that we can use. Same exact thing. If we want to show the entire photo, we can just go into edit, style, reset image, and it'll go to its original size, but that's too long. So what I'm gonna do is make it shorter, make it even shorter. So around here is good. Then go to edit, style, reset, and do the same feature here. Click the photo, and we're gonna drag it so that they're about the same size, leaving us with the same length. Since this is white on white, the background is clear. What I'm gonna do is take this description, highlight it, and then I'm gonna change the color to a red. Same as here. I'm gonna click edit. This time I'm just gonna go straight to the text, color, and change it. And you see how the first time I highlighted it and changed it, this way I just went straight to the colors and changed, and you get the same effect. Now everything is draggable, right? Like, so you can drag this down. What I'm gonna do is click and drag so I can highlight both of these things and move them up. Leave this as is. I like the blue to yellow hover, so I'm gonna change that to yellow. Shop now and such. So this is pretty straightforward in regards to adding images, adding photos, changing the style of the text. You have the ability to click edit, highlight the word that you want to maybe make bold, underline, italicize, so on and so forth. So buttons follow the same kind of treatment. With a button, you can click edit button. Once you click edit button, you write shop now, shop now, order now, and you select where you want after they click the button, what function do? After they click the button, they're going to go to another page. They're going to go to write an email, a section, a file download, etc. So now our order now sends them to the product page. We have a testimonial option here for people that want to say X, Y, and Z. I'd rather have maybe a red. Yeah, I'm gonna make that red. I'm gonna change this photo. Click here to change file. Let's type in streetwear again, and something that has a little bit of red in it. There we go. Boom. Look and feel matches, and we can continue. This area here, you will populate with the information that you have, your email address, your phone number, etc., etc. Here is your social media spot. You can edit your socials. You just literally go here, type in what your business is. Mine is Design to Conquer LLC, and that's on everything. So that's on Facebook. You got to press the plus. So you see how I didn't press it here and it didn't affect. So I have to go back, press the check. Now it's added, Instagram, paste, press the check. Now when somebody clicks on it, it'll take them to the link. Here is where you will receive your emails. If somebody wants to get added to your newsletter, you will go to edit form and make sure that the email address is where you want it to go. This one already has the name of it, form name. So you literally just type in what the form should be called. That way you can track it. This once people start submitting their emails, what you'll do is click the three buttons here for more settings. You'll go to form submissions. In form submissions, you'll start to see who submitted their emails to you for you to have and contact them. Three dots, form submission, view submission. Now, what we can do is press preview. So as we press preview, we'll see what's going on. We got the vibes, heart of the city, the world. We got the products here as an example. Now, you see these aren't clickable. We will want that to be clickable. So if you want the photo to be clickable, you go to edit photo, click action. Right now we have nothing. Open link is what we want. And we want that to open up a specific product, right? Like, so this is based off of the workout stuff. So it's only going to show us what's already selected. This is cookie protein. Let's say that's the cookie protein. These are the same shirts. So we're going to go to edit, action, open link, and then we're going to click page, and then cookie protein. We're going to go to preview now, and then now when we hover over these, they give us the option to click. What that does is bring us to this page, which would realistically be a photo of the shirt again, which is where we can go and kind of edit that, but we'll get to that portion. To navigate your website, you're going to click these two layers, which is page navigation, and you'll see all the pages that exist. So right now, I want to go back to the home page. But if we go to shop, now the shop is here, and we see all of the shop page. This section is a product section, and you can manage this section in its entirety by going to edit section. You can click layout to determine how you want everything to look. The description and price are flush left, but if you want it center, if you want it outlined, you can have it set up how you want. Square, if you press original, everything will kind of become how it's uploaded. If they aren't uniform, the best option would be to do square, or you can do landscape depending on what you are selling and how it looks, but square is typically the best option. You can play around with these if you want. They're kind of self-explanatory. This will round the sides of the image, turning it more to like a circle ultimately. This gives the column space, how much space is in between each item. Oh, excuse me, how many columns are in each thing. So this is 3 columns. This is the column space. So this determines how much space is between the columns. About 24. Row space is the same function. Padding is how much space is here at the top. So the lower the padding, if we drop that to 10, it'll get really high. Keep that at 100. Style, same thing. If we want to change this from a red to a blue, super easy to do that. The background, if we wanted to change that color to more of a tan, more of an off-white, we can make it more off-white. That's really your option, your choice. This section here doesn't really serve a purpose, so I'm gonna delete it. So now that drops down into that. We can go back into section. Scroll behavior. That's if something is on a scroll. Now, if something else changes, it'll have another kind of effect. We have the total product. You can turn these on and off. You see how now it has this at the top. You can have the sorting turned on, and that'll happen here. Depending on how many products you have, you can have a search. That'll happen up here. You can make it go either to the left side, the right side, or the middle. If we click add button on, that'll make each one of these automatic instead of them having to do an extra step to click. Add to bag, if we go to preview, since these typically won't have an additional step, if you click add to bag, well, you can't see it because we're in the preview. It will automatically add it to the bag. But if you are selling clothes, the next step would be choosing the size and or color and what that looks like. We'll get into that, but this is how you customize so far what you have. So if we go here again and go to manage products, that'll take us to the store manager. Inside the store manager, you'll need to create a name. Streetwear 101. Once you do that, you can make a product. We're gonna go into this first one. Here is where you would need, they don't give you the free image choice, so you would need to have photos of your images and what that looks like. The title, a description, a lot of this is self-explanatory. The price, a discount price if there is one, the weight, and then if you need to track quantity, you would then say how many pieces of garments you have for this one specific item. If it's an increments of a dozen, let's say you have 24 of these items, it'll then take notice of that. Options, and options you want to add exactly this, the colors, the size, and such. So This would be size. Then we have small, medium, large, extra large, save. Then we go back into manage, and then we can edit what that looks like on each one of these products. You can add a photo if necessary, but the main photo will be there. Press cancel. If we need an additional option, we will make an additional one, and then we'll say color, black, red, white. You can add a category, and we can say 20 spring 2025 tees. Add the category. Now all of the t-shirts for the spring 2025 can go into this category. Press save. Okay, so what's going on? Let's see if we have to make a new product. We have to change the name. That's weird. Leave. Okay. There we go. Save. Let's go back in and do it again. So we're gonna go into options, sizes, small, medium, large, extra large, save, color, black, white, red. Okay. And save. Then we have it saved. What we forgot to do was the quantity. So we're gonna go back and find, oh, it already, no. Yeah, it already had the variations in the quantity there. No, excuse me, it didn't. Where is quantity? Nope, it's not that. Okay, so I'm gonna see. So just to stay on the store manager for a while, this is where you'll also check your orders to see who's been making those orders. Products shows you all the products that you have available. Discounts, you can go in and add a discount. Discount code is your, it gives you a 10% discount. Discount code 10% off all products. limited total number of uses. You can use this one time and it starts, ends. You can pick the end date if need be. Press save. We'll make it non-ending. We'll go into settings, store details. We'll change that to Imperial. We're in America. That's saved. Company info is important. You need to have the company name. One contact info you will fill in and save. Your country is US. Outside of that, we save that. This is what we would then go into taxes, add the taxes. Standard, add a country. We are in US. Save. Tax name, we just put tax. In New York, the tax is 8.25. Apply taxes to shipping costs. No. Save. Now we have the taxes included. Invoices. This is how the invoice will look. Invoice this, then the invoice number broken down like this when they receive it. Additional information if needed. Anything else. So that's pretty straightforward with that. Checkout lets you see what it'll look out. Checkout policy, you'll have the term and condition. That's where you'll fill in X, Y, and Z. This is all purchases are final. Any of that language that you need to populate should go into these locations. It's not mandatory, but it's suggested. You can require certain things in order for you to be able to stay in communication with your customers, like making it required to get their phone number, or if you have another request, like if you ask them when their birthday is, so you can send them a happy birthday message or a 25% off birthday email. That's typically what those are for. This is pretty straightforward. Then we have shipping. Chances are, if you're doing drop shipping and things like that, all of that will be handled by the carrier, so you won't have to do much. But the way that you'll do that is standard shipping. You'll add the country, save, regular condition. We can add, we'll go to action, press edit. Shipping rate will be, $14. No condition. All of this more or less covers what's needed. The only thing missing is how you will want to get paid. You will add payment. You can connect PayPal, Stripe. Ideally, those two will be what you use to collect the money. Once you're done with that, you close it out. It automatically saves that information. And let's see where's new product at. So if we go to preview, new product is what we just created. Once you're in new product, we have the options. We need a small red, add to cart. And that will break that down for us. You notice here on a white background, you lose the banner, which is a problem if you don't think about it in advance. And it's important to have these preview options to kind of help you with that. So now we know this section has to have in the layout, in the style, the color needs to be something dark so that it always shows, and so on. So that covers what the product development would look like. So if we go into preview, now we get to move back to the home page. It gives us this. We see the flow. We go to product. It brings us to new product. And then now shirt would be a medium, white. I'm on 2, add to cart, so on and so forth. Blog. If you decide to utilize blogs as a form to bring people to your website where you talk about your lifestyle, you talk about your product development, you talk about exercising or anything that's related to the brand, you can then start creating a blog. Once you click on that, it'll break down this blog post in and of itself and what that looks like. To edit and create blogs, that will be this button here. But we're already on the blog page itself, so we can go in and edit these things the same way we would do any other page. We create what that looks like. Clearly, this is too hard to read. We're going to select all and change that to black. Everything is pretty straightforward. Blog, we go into here. What I would suggest is edit, duplicate. When you duplicate, you then are able to just use the same style and layout of what was already created. You go in, now that this one is duplicated, you're going to go to edit, post settings. In post settings, you'll rename it in post. You'll change the featured image so that it's not the same. You can add a category, lifestyle. And all of the categories that relate to lifestyle can go under that. And so now when you go to blog, you'll see lifestyle. Lifestyle, the name of the blog, a quick description, the date, the month, etc. If you don't want that to show, you click the entire background, which will allow you to edit blog lists. You would then go to style and turn on and off what you don't want to show. So if you don't want the date to show, just close it. If you don't want to show how long the read time is, turn it off. So on and so forth. So you can turn off the title, you can turn off the description, feature, image, the whole thing. You obviously you wouldn't want to turn off the image, and you may not want to turn off the title. So you can make it as informed or as vague as you want. And that's pretty straightforward. This is the 2 options for the text color itself. Let's see. So that covers a lot of the functionalities and flow. So if we go back into our website styles, we have colors. If we want to change any of the colors overall, we can. The last thing is animations. And this is how things will look as people scroll. So now that I got the scale, if I go to preview, it scales up. These things, well, on this, it won't load because I was already on it. If I click the home page, scales up, pops up, scales up, scale, scale. So automations give a nice little added effect to the website flow and functionality. Like I said, everything is pretty straightforward when it comes to editing. If we go back to editor, this gives you a description, a breakdown of what things look like. If you want to change this background, you just select it, press edit section. You can change the color to a white or red or any other color that you choose, and you can add a video. However, you can't upload and add your own video to the background, but what you can do is choose something that works. So we got streetwear. What does this look like? Uh, None of this looks cool for real. Let's just see the sneakers. Nah, I'm not jacking that. Let's see what this is. That's not it. Let's see that. Um, let's type in fashion. Type in fashion. Nothing is really connecting. Let's type in New York. Something like this. Fire. Background, New York City. City vibes. It ties into the reds. It has the orange. I mean, yeah, like the orangey reds, the black, and it creates a nice clean effect. Since I did that with that, I'm gonna make this background black. So it seems like it just continues. Mm. Now we got the New York City sky vibes to match. Since I did that, I'm gonna change this one to match that. Yeah. And then it becomes something like that, a very organic experience. The fact that I didn't have anything initially developed makes this process a little more tricky because you'll be playing in post and you're trying to create something. So you would definitely want to have a brand guideline already. A brand guideline consists of colors, fonts, typography, so that when it comes to adding all of this stuff onto your website, everything makes sense and is uniform. I would then change this blue to a white since it's on a background. I would make this the reverse. I would make this the yellow, and then when you hover over it, let's make it red. Now, other effects and other features. If we continue over here on this right-hand side, I told you that we have elements. If you wanted to add a button for whatever reason, it'll come here, and then you can add this button here. You will do the same effect. Style, hover, yellow, normal, hover, and then we'll make that red. So now that button looks like that. You would also need to have it linked to a page, our story, and then once they click it, it goes there. If you click this button and you want to add your own photo, you go there, you go to replace photo, whatever this is, right? Like that'll be the photo. You can then scale that to be as big as you want. You can click here and send it to back. I'll send it to back. And then now it's behind all the other things, allowing you to kind of add it wherever you want. You know, this is something that I'm making up on the fly, so it doesn't really have a connection. But if let's say we wanted it to be something like this, right? Let's make this thinner, and then bring that down. We have the ability to do something like that. If we wanted to add social icons, we can then add those. To edit them to be able to be seen, you click edit, you go to style, color, make it white, make it yellow, you know, and then you would then have to go in and add all of the info. If you don't have a Facebook, delete it. You don't got a LinkedIn, just delete it. If you just want it to be Instagram, there's the button. And then let's add that here. Boom. This feature, if it's not, this feature lets you know that you didn't add anything, but on preview, it will not show. It'll just look like an image, and it'll just take the person to the general thing. If we go back, we can go to add elements again. Instagram feed, we have a map. This is where you can add a subscription. So here, again, is another subscription feature. If you want the person to subscribe, you can then elongate this to as long or as short as you want. And then go to edit. You need to go to style. Label color. That's the label up here. Since it's black, we need to be able to see it. We're going to make it yellow. Change that. On style, we're going to go to button. We're going to change the button to gold as well. Go back over it. Stay on button, and then the hover is going to be red. And create stat effect. We'll go back to edit. Let's say we have the white symbol here. We can actually click. Oh, they use the text to make that. You can go into shape, change shape, make it a line. Once you do that, you can change the color, make it white, and kind of have the same kind of effect. You would then want to send it to the back, so it's behind whatever needs to be behind. You can have that same kind of effect. You can then change it to make it whatever color you want. I mean, whatever shape you want. Close it, change the color to make it blue. Cool. Maybe it should go here. Smaller effect. Next, we have a map. Maps typically go at the bottom, so I'll delete that. We can go here to the footer. If we go to plus, we can add the map here. And then, just leave that there. We're going to select these two things, drag them over. And then now the map lives in this area. Make it a little bigger. Select all of these things, bring them up. Yeah. Now it kind of has a look and feel that we're going for. Drag the section up. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Now we're back in this section. We're going to go add. What else do we have? We don't need a search bar for real, but if you wanted to, you can just add that. It's already a info thing. I don't see the purpose of that, so I'm going to delete it. Now, if you want to add a whole new section, if you wanted something else, they also have pre-created sections. So if you wanted the map area with all of these locations, let's say you have multiple locations in your city, state where you have a product people could pick up, you can add that. Testimonials gives you text and photo layouts that you can choose to utilize. These all are pretty straightforward with what they are, but if we wanted to do a gallery is pretty cool. If you have photos from a photo shoot, you would go into edit gallery, determine how you want the look and feel. This is 4 rows. Items per row, you have 4 per row. You can edit and change that to manage gallery. You would then have to delete the photos that you don't want. Delete. And we'll add our own photos like this. Like this. We'll add this. We'll add this. We'll add. Go in and find. S fashion. Let's type in street fashion. There we go. This is a little bit more vibey. Like that. Let's add two more. But if you have your own images, you can populate this with what you want. Last one. So now we have a unified look and feel. But if you wanted to edit the gallery, some of these photos were longer than others. You can do that, which gives it a little bit of a scattered effect, which is also very cool. Again, if they click it, the only option is to make the image full page, or it does nothing. You can control the gaps between these things if you don't want them to have that much, or if you do, depending on the style that you after, you can control that. Something like this to me is pretty cool. You can type in whatever you want it to say. So that's gallery. At the very top, they have a sticky option, and we can type in brand vibes April 20th, 2020. The cool thing about this is, let's say we want to add an emoji or something, alert emoji. You can just literally copy that, go here, paste it, fire. So now we got an alert letting people know that new shit is coming out the 20th. That handles a majority of the look and feel of everything. These are the pages. So here is where you can easily jump from page to page. If we go to the contact page has the map again, and it just breaks down the info. Pretty straightforward: name, return info, so on and so forth. This is pretty straightforward, doesn't really need too much. Again, if you ever want to add a section or add something else, you just click it. You want to add like a FAQ or your terms, your policy, you want to have that, right? Boom, click it. They need the name, streetwear on streetwear on that NYC negative. So now it generates that for you. You can email the name here. It creates a pretty straightforward policy. That's pretty cool. I have to move sections, right? Like, I don't want this to be the first thing people see. You click the section, as long as it says edit section, you're on the section, and you just literally drop it down. Drop it down. So now that is there. We can drop it down one more time. Bring that there. This is kind of gigantic. Let's make all of this 3. So now it's smaller, but still relatively lengthy. You can take that, bring it over, kind of thing. And now all the policy information is there. Or you can go to pages, create a new page, and have the policy page be a policy page. Generate that page for you with the title, with the name. You press save. Now you have a policy page. The policy page is shown here. But if you don't want a page to be shown at the top, you just drag and move it, to the hidden area. So now it's removed. Right, we have the return policy and such on there. We will go back to contact page, scroll down section, and just delete the entire section. Since we already have the address map, you can delete that and then delete this whole section. These are the pages again. As you see here, they have SEO. SEO is pretty interesting. It's not super duper difficult. However, knowing how to fill it out is relatively important. And what you'll do is just click it. It'll bring you to this page. You need to add keywords. Company story, our story, um, company bang. Since it says our story here, I'm clicking our story, and then you want to add meta description. This is where I will go back to ChatGPT. Give me a meta description for a streetwear brand. Our story page. All right, let that cook up what it'll say. Boop. Take that, copy that, paste that. Good money. Discover our story. And as you do that, then this page should be good money. What's it gonna say? Take care of that. Now that page is good to go. You'll do the same effect to all of these. If you have a ChatGPT, tell it to come up with a product page, meta description. You'll fill in all of those areas, put you in a better standing as far as being found online. Outside of that, we kind of covered all of the basics. Depending on if you have this is just AI stuff to tell, like use AI if needed, depending on what you're after. Blog, we went through that. This is the product page. I already showed you how to do the product. You'll be able to check the orders from here, manage the product page universally from this section. We already talked about categories. We added a discount, appointments. If you need to make appointment or create appointments, let's dive into that. Enable appointments. So if somebody wants to pull up on you, you can go to edit. It'll kind of give you this preset 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. You can save that or edit it to whatever you want it to look like. And then you'll go into products. You'll create a new product, and then you will make an appointment. APPT. You can have AI come up with a description for you. On mine, I have the feature here. I do fashion consulting. I need generate that. What just happened? I do fashion consulting. Yeah. text. Let the AI do whatever it does. You can pick the price, say it's 24, and it kind of is the same exact thing as the regular products. You can create that. You need a time and location, depending on where you want it to be at. If it's personal address, or you can say Zoom meeting, duration, so on and so forth. The duration will be now you have that as an option. You can add the drip check to a feature by just adding it. Now let's say we want this feature to be the drip check. You would just type in drip check, and it'll allow for that person to start the process of booking an appointment with you via your calendar. And that, in a nutshell, handles creating the website. The next portion of all of this is this feature right here, which is the mobile version. So mobile version, you want to ensure that your website on mobile looks and feels as close as possible to what you created. So you see how I added those buttons and those effects and all of that. Now all of that is just at the bottom, right? Like, so if I just published this and thought it was done, all of these things are just at the bottom off. This was associated with one of these, right? Like, so I have to go in here, make it thinner, put it here. This button went, this button went with the eco-friendly. The eco-friendly was that. This was with the amazing flavors. And that's there. This was also with the amazing flavors. It's over. Add it like this. This was last one. This is the no fillers. No fillers. This can stay at the bottom. So now we'll drag this all the way up. Make it a decent amount of space. Make this up a little bit. Decent amount of space. This is the layout for the blog. I mean, for the gallery. I'll add a little bit of space there. And then you would have to go through your entire website that you created and make sure that everything looks correct. So shop, we added that, we had that. This the drip check has no photo. Here's all of those things. Let's see what that's not. So that's probably why that other thing was there. I just have that match so that was like a space here. This is pretty straightforward, no need to change. To go back to the home page, this button doesn't bring you to the home page, it just goes to the logo. You will have to go, click home page, and then we will scroll through. This is two things, so I would want it to be like this. And I don't want it to be further up. That, so hold on. Looks good. Looks good. Want to put the middle. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Move this up a little bit. So everything you do on these pages needs to always be double checked in the mobile. What other page did we work on? Our story. No, we didn't do our story. But either way, you will go in and double check whatever you created on the web version that it looks the exact same, if almost exactly the same as on the mobile, to ensure that the people that don't have a desktop, don't have a laptop, and only use their phone get the same kind of experience. Here we would just select all, make all of these things black. I would make this shorter, so on and so forth. Once you do that, you would save it. You can then click go live. Go live button makes it an active site. If you already have your URL connected to your website, going live will automatically make the website active where people can make purchases, as long as you have added your payment method. Feel free to rewatch this. I kind of went through this with a moderate speed. And if you have any questions, feel free to write those down and then hit me up and we can discuss what that looks like overall. But everything else is very straightforward. The main things that you will be using is the elements. Outside of the elements, you will be using website styles. Besides the website styles, you'll be going into the store to manage your products, your appointments, your discounts, your categories. And yeah, that is it.